Russia launching another deadly attack on Ukraine using nearly 500 drones and dozens of missiles targeting civilians in its capital, Kiev. It comes after President Trump met Zelensky at the United Nations General Assembly here in New York City last week, where he reportedly signaled being open to giving new missiles to Ukraine after restricting them for months. World Strat President Jim Hansen served in the U.S. Army Special Forces, and he joins us now. So, Jim, I wanted to have you on to help break this down because, you know, as soon as President Trump came into office, his first goal was to end the war. He hates the killing. He hates that, you know, 7,000 young people are dying every single week in this war, and he wants to end it. And it seemed like he was leaning really heavily on Zelensky, and then he offered an olive branch to Putin in Alaska, and now it seems like he's frustrated with Putin. Putin's not doing, coming to the table, and now he's back to helping Ukraine, or he's starting to help Ukraine on the military front, even though he wants to end the war. So break it all down for us.
Oh, I think President Trump is mad at Putin for stopping his war-ending streak. You know, he expected a little better from him and gave him the honor of a meeting in Alaska. And now what he's doing, I don't think this is a commitment to Zelensky and Ukraine that he's going to help them take back all the territory that Russia has. I don't think anyone should expect that. But the idea of giving them some missiles and permission to hit Russia deep and tear up some of their infrastructure is designed to get Putin back to the bargaining table and to get him in a place where we can end this war.
Here's what President Trump said on Truth Social. He said Russia has been fighting aimlessly for 3.5 years, a war that should have taken a real military power less than a week to win. This is not distinguishing Russia. In fact, it is very much making them look like a paper tiger. Is that what you're saying is going to bring them to the negotiating table?
I think that was a little trash talk, which is part of the game as well, and President Trump's specialty.
Yes.
But I think he also has made it known in that same speech that China and India are buying way too much energy from Russia and giving them cash that funds this war. He also pointed out the Europeans are doing the same thing. They're buying energy from Russia and funding a war. And he said, who the hell does that? So I think he's going to put pressure on those people to stop buying Russia and funding this, and then also give Ukraine a little bit more help and pressure Russia with every other piece of U.S. power that he can.
Yeah, there's not a lot of appetite for a Ukraine war, and people really do want the president to end this. Hopefully, this will bring Putin to the negotiating table. I want to ask you about this because Pete Hegseth, our war secretary, has called for this very mysterious meeting with generals. This is a Politico headline that you're looking at right there. Hegseth's mysterious meeting with generals will focus on grooming and warrior ethos. What do you expect to happen? There's a lot of speculation online about what this is about. What are you hearing?
I don't think it's all that mysterious. Pete Hegseth came into a Department of Defense that was not a War Department, and he turned it upside down and started shaking it, saying, we're not going to operate the way we were because we did not have a functional, lethal, deterrence-based fighting force that was going to scare our enemies and, if need be, defeat them. So he changed the policies. He threw out DEI. He stopped the trans stuff. You know, he said we're going to have actual physical fitness standards, and that has met some resistance. So they basically are getting a kind of a come to Jesus meeting saying you need to get on board or those 20% cuts we talked about might be you.
Yeah, I noticed it said grooming in there. We've had military people come to our set, actually, when the Secretary of War was a co-host on this show. And I remember being shocked sometimes at the grooming, I think I saw someone with a beard and some other things. Is that what he's talking about? Is that what you think they're also going to discuss?
Yeah, people forget, that part of the military entire way of life is to look like a warrior.
Yes.
And having a bunch of, fat, out of shape people with long hair and, just looking scraggly does not present the image that we want. So he wants this to look like a fighting force, act like a fighting force, and then hopefully deter our enemies, but if need be, to fight like a fighting force.
Yeah, I love that. I can't wait to hear what that's about, and how he gets them back into shape and back to looking uniformed and like really tough, mean fighting machines. Jim Hansen, thanks for joining us. Great information.